Hello guys, today I wanted to talk about Euphoria and characters that still didn't get it, that should get it because they are falling off tremendously and they're completely unused by anybody in any scenario. Now, Euphoria has been a really good addition to the game, I feel like, and a lot of people that even new players that are getting new character or old character from standard or like from low patches from the past are not super depressed about getting them because they know that eventually they'll be able to get them to up to speed and more relevant place, right? So I did find a old blog post with like a rundown of what it was gonna happen. But if I'm missing something that already has been made into Euphoria, I don't think so. But for example, Regulus, I don't think we got Regulus yet, even though this was announced to be like around, like she was about to do this stuff. Same with Centurion, they haven't been like finalized, so they might be different. But what I'm gonna talk today about is characters that need Euphoria that we don't know about. They weren't mentioned anywhere, and they could use Euphoria to be more relevant. They were like the Giga fell off, and they're not really being used that much anymore. Okay, only 6 stars because the 5-star personally I don't really use them that much. I know that the 5 stars are gonna be really important for new players, so maybe we're gonna touch on it like briefly. But besides that, first the 6-star, because those are the characters that you're gonna go for when you're a new player or you're an older player and you get a character. You fell 50-50 to a character and you go like, oh well, GG, I cannot use this character. It used to be actually Jessica, but now she got Euphoria. Didn't really change much, but at least they did something. Okay, she could be fine. It is not completely dog shit. Now, the character actually, you can see here that they're planning to buff Calabauna, which I was going to mention, and 6, which is kind of crazy. Like you're buffing 6, so whoa, okay. Collection and debuff, now they're only 4 instead of 6, but he does 3. So with debuff, the buff and debuff, it's gonna be 3 instead of 2. So 3 debuff instead of 2, 3 buffs instead of 2 every time you do the card. So it's easier to plant everything on everybody, but he does less things. Now I would like to know for this one, I would like to know the collection of buff. Did they change the collection of buff? I don't think they did, otherwise they would mention it here. The debuffs are fine. Now, he will lose a little bit of DPS on his ultimate, because his ultimate scales on how many debuffs he has. But it increases up to 4 times, right? So technically, at P0, this is not going to change. You still have to do 2. If anything, it's easier to reach. But I believe there is something here about the ultimate. Yeah, here on P5. I know it's a little, oh no, whale problems. I don't have a P5, but something that I do. You can get more debuffs up to 6 times. So you can't do it with 6 alone. You would have to add more debuffs from other people that do something else, like maybe poison stacks or burn, so it is reachable, but it's a little bit harder now. You cannot do it with 6 alone. Getian actually getting a buff. Shape of Bones can now be stacked up to 3 times, pretty good. Prophecy Foretold is active, which is the domain. At the start of the round, all enemies gains a stack of Shape of Bones, really good. And Admonition, which is the thunder, deals 25% reality damage for each stack of Shape of Bones on the target. If the target has 3 stacks, this attack will critically hit. This would make him really, really good. It's already good, decent enough, but yeah, so nobody is excused by, or excused by the Euphoria here. Even characters that are a little more recent are getting buffed. So I would like to say that the characters that are missing here from 1.0 or onward are Medicine Pocket, Melania, Pickles. Now Regulus is being buffed, so sure, and I think that's it, right? Because the other characters, Shemaine got buffed but didn't do anything. It didn't really change his viability. It's still like really weird. So maybe 37. Now 37 is really good because of the genesis, the fact that it can crit, and the fact that you're getting Eureka every 2 seconds by everybody doing anything. She gets Eureka, so you know it's pretty good. But when the extraction, I meant, but yeah. So, but you could take, if they're buffing 6 and they're buffing Ketian, they could buff 37. Now, some people were theorizing, what if you get, since she's star, what if you get 37 into the impromptu incantation meta? That would be kind of crazy, because you are now giving inspiration stacks to 37, so you can use 37 and she will contribute to the impromptu incantation. Now, I don't know if they could maybe just give her the concept of it, like consuming 2 Eureka will give 1 inspiration to, or 2 inspiration to the pile, and that's it. But they could also implement other things in the Euphoria for her, besides just the impromptu and the inspiration, which could make the character insane, technically, thinking about it. So I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure if that's a good idea, but 37p0 is a little bit weak, on the weaker side. You all usually bring her just because of the plus Eureka that she gets, and when she gets to 5, she consumes it to do supplementary formula, which is the AoE wheel. Now, the AoE wheel consumes 5 Eureka, so this one could be really good for getting, if they make it count, for getting a big amount of inspiration, right, for the improvised card. So that should be basically, it's basically like saying, please give me into that mechanic. So 37 could be a great addition for that. She's star, so it makes sense, right? Now, for the other characters, now Medicine Pocket is an actually very slept on healer, in my opinion, because it's a character that gives a lot to the player. Now, it is not used, they're not used anymore that much, because Vila is just insane, and the other option is just Tooth Fairy. So, but the character itself is doing a lot for you. It's giving you stardiness, it's healing you. It's a mass heal, it's not even a one heal, it's healing you, it's giving you stardiness, is dazing the enemy, is giving Moxie, is also debuffing globally, 20% damage taken, the damage is whatever. And then, but the problem with Medicine Pocket is that that's it, technically. It used to be really good early on, but now with new characters, big buffs, +1 Eureka, +1 Moxie, that's Vila. Automatic heal if you don't use her cards. When she uses her cards, her heal is going to be big heal on the first guy, and then secondary heal on the other guy that needs the HP after the first guy that needed it the most. Like, you know, there's they do a lot of things. Even Tooth Fairy is falling behind, in my opinion. So it is important to get these characters up to speed. I would improve Medicine Pocket Insight tremendously and add new mechanics that make them heal more, or they make them buff in, or maybe a little bit of a shield, maybe a little bit of a buff. I wouldn't do like offensive stuff necessarily. I would maybe increase the debuff here by like 10%, do like damage taken, 30% damage taken increase maybe, or maybe to 30 at level 1 and then up to 50 on level 3, maybe. The days, if this doesn't work on Days immunity character, it should do something else, right? Like if you say you add like another string here, another sentence, you say like, if the character is immune, if the enemy is immune to Days, gain 3 Moxie or something. So you can spam the ultimate, let's say. Or maybe this is a global Days, you make it into a global Days so you can stun everybody but the boss. But that would make Medicine Pocket not viable for raids. So it is a little bit of a pickle here. Speaking of pickles, I think that Pickle needs the buff the most, because Pickle's role is a support unit, a supportive unit. Now, the buff being 30%, that's not enough. This needs to be 50% minimum, because everybody's using Necrologist instead. Why are they using Necrologist? Besides the fact that people don't die thanks to Necrologist, she's also giving the same fucking thing. Damage dealt 30% for 3 rounds. Once after you do the ultimate. What is this? Why is he the same as Pickles? Pickles is a 5-star, hello? So, and then if you have P5 Necrologist, which most of you do, unless you're a new player, but you will too if you're a new player, this is going to give you 50%. 20% more than Pickles. I think this is ridiculous. So Pickles should be hit by Euphoria the hardest, in my opinion. They should completely change his fucking kit. I know that they cannot change the card itself, but he has some big flaws. For example, you're not going to use this. Why would you use this card? Nihilism Abuse is a fucking attack card, so unless this is nuking, you don't use this card. This is just a little bit of damage. Why would you use your supporter that doesn't do anything but supporting and dispelling and buffing you? Why would you use their attack? You don't use their attack, right? We only have 4 AP. So unless this one gives you one AP, like Flutter Page or like Regulus passive here, that Restless Heart now also provides 1 AP. So having Regulus chilling there is going to give you 1 AP, which is good, because that's how you get Restless Heart. After casting and Sleeper Relay, again, 1 Moxie and the adjacent allies. They could add something like that with Pickles as well, in my opinion. But what they can do, instead of changing the card, they can add on it, right? So this will keep being like this, but it will also gain extra stuff. Like, okay, if you have Euphoria level 3, Nihilism Abuse is going to give 1 AP or more, or maybe like 1 AP, and it's going to give 1 Moxie to everybody else, let's say. That would incentivize you to use someone like Pickles, but that's not the only thing. They should, minimum, they need to have Hedonism Implement Dispel at level 1 as well, so you don't have to worry about mixing 2 cards. Because all of the new characters are very, no, I wouldn't say bloated, but their team, their kits are very full of things, full of mechanics. So you don't have time or space or any way for you to also worry about 2 little balls to fuse together as well as everything else, just because you want to dispel, right? So I do feel like we're not getting enough dispels, personally. I don't think we're getting enough dispel characters. Nobody is fucking dispelling, besides Pickles here and Tooth Fairy Ultimate. So I'm not thinking about anyone that dispels that it's a 6-star. I'm not thinking about anybody. Anybody fucking dispels. So when you like fighting the enemies like buff each other like crazy. For example, if you're doing the Reverie, or even if you're not doing the Reverie, if we happen to get Forget Me Not hopefully not in Limbo again, all of those mages that buff themselves, and it's like every one single buff, it's plus 3 buffs on everybody. You want to dispel that, especially on Forget Me Not. Can we do that? We should be able to have units that do that. So maybe add a dispel on level 1 on Hedonism here on the balloon. I call it the balloon because I see the ball, the ball there, or the ball. Yeah, you fuse the ball and then add. You can add Moxie to everybody. You can add a little bit of shield. You can add a debuff that also gets applied to the enemies, or a buff that applies to every ally, maybe damage up to everybody outside of the ultimate, maybe like a 10 or 20% damage up when you're doing something else, or maybe tie something to clarify topic since there's getting so many. So anything that makes him worth using instead of the Giga Chads that we have at the moment, because we have 6, we have Getian, we have Kakania, all of these characters, we have the new Anna Lee, which is soon gonna be a god. So, you know, when are you using Pickles? You're not using Pickles. Why would you use Pickles ever, right? with those Giga Chads, if you have those units, it's going to be, it's not even a choice. You even forget that you have Pickles. I have Pickles. I don't even remember that I have him because there is no reason to use him. Besides this, which is not even that good, this doesn't do anything, and this you need to worry about level 2. It cannot be. So Pickles needs, I feel like it needs the most attention, with also Medicine Pocket, because I love this healer and I love this character. I had it since day one. I rerolled and I chose the account that had Medicine Pocket in it because I really like how the kit worked. But I do think the inside for Medicine Pocket is just trash, and it should be improved tremendously, because it was even on day one, inside 3 Medicine Pocket was just bad. So anything else? Let's see. We talked about everything. Maybe you could even buff Tooth Fairy, to be honest. I feel like Tooth Fairy is not holding the same power that Vila is. So after you do Vila, you can't just do like, oh, okay, well, Vila is insane and Tooth Fairy is like nowhere close. She's still good, but nowhere close. So I feel like Tooth Fairy could use a healer, a buff as well. I also think Spathodea needs a buff. Spathodea is falling off a little bit. I think it's because of the clunkiness of the character. People are just using J instead because it's automatic basically. Even if it doesn't do as much, I feel like Spathodea needs a little bit of a healing, a little bit of buffing. I feel like what they could do is give more stacks of everything, so it's easier for you to reach and keep the 15 stacks of burn for the ultimate to do more damage. Increase the damage of the ultimate, because if the damage is not coming from anything else, then increase the damage of the ultimate. Or if you don't want to do that, make it easier to reach the secondary crit damage. Especially if she's P0, you are not getting that much. You are losing 40% crit damage. So 15 stacks of burn, 50 stacks of burn are going to be kind of hard to reach. They're easy now, but you would have to use Spathodea and J, I feel like. But if you want to use Spathodea alone, or if you don't have J, right? Not everybody pull for J. J is a secondary unit. It's not that important to have in your roster. It is good, but if you have Spathodea, makes sense. Do you don't want to use J, or you don't want to pick up J because I have Spathodea. So I feel like Spathodea could use a little bit of a buff, not that much, not that big, but it could use a buff to make it easier. So maybe more stacks of ignition point, whatever she gets, double. Maybe not double acceleration, but like maybe more stacks of preparation Spathodea, so you have more punches to do and to fuse together. You could do something like that, or you could add some extra damage to the ultimate outside of burn and add like a new mechanic, like Windsong, let's say. Oh, this damage is going to deal more damage if you follow it up. If before the ultimate you do 2 punches, let's say, it's going to deal more damage, or something like that, right? Or maybe it does more damage if the enemy is debuffed in general. If you have 15 stacks of burn, and also if the enemy has any debuff, is going to, or maybe 2 negative status, since you have burn, you need 1 more negative status to do more damage, let's say, extra damage. Not critical damage, just damage. Maybe, I don't know, those are just guesses. So overall, I feel like these are the characters that need the most attention. Even Ezra could be buffed. For Ezra, I would go... Make his shield last for 2 turns, and is already fixed, to be honest. Make his shield last for 2 turns or 3, and you're chilling, because this character is already pretty decent. So, or maybe do something with the fungus so they stay for longer and they're easy to spawn. Maybe remove completely the concept of having to grow the mushroom. You just do the ability, the mushroom spawns. Boom, that's it. It's already there. You don't have to like grow it, because growing it is going to be cringe. So, but you can make Ezra be better for sure, and it's going to be really easy. I feel like even by just giving him a multi-turn shield, because the shield stacks with his HP, and you want to build Ezra with a lot of HP. So 20% of max HP of Ezra is going to be like a 4K shield. kind of. Not really, but kind of. But yeah, at level 3 is going to be a really chunky shield, but one round is a shame, to be honest. So I feel like it should like instantly spawn fungi and get the shield to 2 rounds or 3 rounds, and this character is cracked, right? Or like it's a really good, not cracked, but it's gonna be like really, really good. And it's like, oh shit, nice, I got Ezra. I lost 50-50, but I got Ezra. I didn't have him. Let's go, right? You need to react like that, otherwise the character fell off, right? So that said, let me know if there is other character that you think they should be buffed. Maybe there is. I mean, Centurion I think should be buffed, but they already announced what they're gonna do. You know, they're gonna do this thing. So I didn't say that, but I do think that Centurion should be buffed. Aknight should be buffed as well, but I have no idea what they could do for Aknight. So maybe you let me know in the comments below. And thank you for watching, and see you next time.